What's up, and welcome back to Fantasy Football. I'm Walt, and I know fantasy football. So check this out. If you are just now joining this channel, we talk about fantasy football and everything in between. So let's go and dive into it. Tell me what you guys thought about the Hall of Fame game. Did it get you excited? Did it get you feeling like the season is almost here and it's almost time for us to get ready to dive into some fantasy football? I know I felt that way. I know I was excited to watch the game, even though it was boring. But that's what you're going to get because you're not going to really get the star-studded players out there in the first preseason game. Maybe not even the second preseason game. You might see them for a snap. You might see them for a series. But when it comes to it, they want to keep the players as healthy as they can. As you well know, we are starting to get injury information left and right in regards to some players. I do feel bad for those players that are now out for the rest of the season, but injury is going to come. And so when it comes to the game of football, we got to make sure that we have the top and best players that are going to stay healthy in the season. So, the Hall of Fame game, huh, I like the inductees that were part of the Hall of Fame ceremony. Um, some really great players like Patrick Willis. He was a beast for San Francisco. You had Andre Johnson for the Texans that actually played. He was a beast too, and he was a beast everywhere he went. Devin Hester. Now, if you know about Devin Hester, or if you don't know about Devin Hester, just look up the special teams player um, that broke the records, because I believe that he's still at the top of the echelon when it comes to punt return and kickoff return. And I'm gonna tell you something. With punt return, that is not an easy task. When I played football, I was a punt returner until I got walloped. And I told the coach, hey, just put me on kickoff return. No more punt return for me because I am the star running back. And if you get your running back hurt, guess what? You'll have to put that second reserve player in there. And hey, I can't tell you if they're going to help win the game or not. Yeah, I'm talking about myself a little bit. But, anyways, so football is back. I'm telling you, time has been flying, man. It's been flying. And I'm just so excited to get ready to dive into football. I wanted to talk about the PPR League cheat sheet, and you can get this off of ESPN.com. Big shouts out to them. They've always, all the years that I've played, I really go to ESPN. They have the most easiest format in whenever you wanted to have your drafts, the time frames, drafting players, however you want to do that, whether it's bid or snake draft or whatever it is, it's seamless and easy. Now their webpage can go for a little bit of work, but we're not going to dive into that. So what I wanted to talk about is maybe the top five players for each offensive position, the skill position. So I wanted to just go over the top five players and what you may want to look for when it comes to a PPR league, and also what to kind of be hesitant on, because you do have some players that may be in the top five that I'm not comfortable with them being there until I actually can see that they're going to have a healthy season, or if they're going to get the level of play that they used to get with previous players that were on their team that helped them out. Because as you well know, it it is just not the player alone. It's got to be the person throwing the ball. It's got to be the person that's blocking for him. It's got to be the team within itself. And so you want to keep that in mind when it comes to who you're drafting, where you're drafting, and just basically your draft strategy. Now, as you can see that this is a PPR sheet, points per reception sheet. This may be able to work for standard as well. I'm not a big fan of standard league. Those who are out there that play standard league, hey, I'm sorry, but I can't get with standard league. I know everybody has their perks, their pet peeves, and one of my pet peeves is that a player that catches a ball does not get rewarded for making that catch, even if it's as challenging as it is. If they're going across on a slant and there's a middle linebacker or an outside linebacker waiting there to clean their clock, or making a catch in between two defensive players to secure the ball and get some yards, those are rewards, man. I played the game of college football. It is a totally different beast. When I went from high school to college, I never made it to the league, but I can just say this. the level of gameplay is totally different when you go to the next level to the next level. So I can only imagine the type of physique, the type of speed, the type of awareness going from college to the NFL. It's not an easy task because it wasn't an easy task for me when I went from high school to college football. The guys were bigger than me, they were faster than me, and they were stronger than me. So, players that catch the ball, I feel that they need a reward because it's concentration. I used to play running back, receiver, quarterback. I tried to play every position that I could. And, when you're catching the ball, you got to concentrate. You can't really be worried about the player that's going to be hitting you. They call that hearing footsteps when you drop the ball. Anyways, so I wanted to go over the positional players, and I want to make it quick because I don't want to go over every player. Again, you can pick this information up off of ESPN. It is the 2024 cheat sheet. I know my brother's used it in the past, and he's liked it because he doesn't go out and get a fantasy football book. I get the fantasy football book. I just went in my closet, and there was like 3 different fantasy football books, and I'm like, man, I add this up, it was like $50 that I spent on these fantasy football books. Anyways, just getting off the subject now, let's just go ahead and dive into it. So the top 5 that we have here in quarterbacks: Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, and Anthony Richardson. There's one player there that remains to be in question, and that's Anthony Richardson. He was stellar when he was first playing, and then he got hurt, put him out for the remainder of the season. He can't, when you get hurt and you're going out there and you're performing and you're doing everything you can, you run the risk of getting hurt again. And getting hurt again could put you out for the rest of the season or it could be career ending. So, I don't feel like he's the number 5th quarterback off the board. Now, CJ Stroud, Joe Burrow, Dak, maybe even Jordan Love, we can put in front of him. But we'll see. We'll see what happens with that because he is a dynamic player. Their offense really didn't change besides Jonathan Taylor, going to be the starting running back, and it all depends on how he's going to perform. But I can agree with 4 out of the 5 here. 4 out of the 5 here. Now, let's talk about running backs. Christian McCaffrey, Brees Hall, Bijan Robinson, Jonathan Taylor, and Saquon Barkley. I like Brees Hall, don't get me wrong. Even though I'm a Patriot fan and he plays for the Jets, I like him. But I don't believe that he's going to be number 2. And I don't believe that Jonathan Taylor is going to be the number 4 running back. I definitely can see Saquon, depending on how healthy he can remain, being up there because he's going to be playing for a team that can spread it out. And whenever they're ready to run the ball, they can run the ball. And Saquon's got some great hands. I can see Jahmyr Gibbs, moving up there. Flashy player. Really just mouth-dropping plays with him. His speed, his awareness, just everything that he's done within the Detroit Lions, man. I mean, he made them so much better, even though, they had a pretty good running back backfield anyways. But yeah, I can see that. Kyron Williams. Now with Kyron, we just got to make sure that he stays healthy because that's going to be depending on what he's able to do. From what I've read, Puka is, he's dealing with a knee issue. How healthy is he going to be come week 1? So, these are things that we have to keep in mind is that sometimes those injured players can make us perform a lot worse because they're not on the field taken away from, 8 in the box. So we do have to keep that in mind. So I believe that, Jahmyr and Saquon should be up there. And Brees and Jonathan Taylor need to come down some. Now, we will see. We will definitely see when it comes to that. Shooting over to the receiver side, you got CeeDee Lamb, Tyreek Hill, Jamari Chase, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Justin Jefferson. Those are the top 5 receivers. Tyreek Hill should be number 1. Justin Jefferson should be down below A.J. Brown and Puka Nacua. Justin Jefferson has two things that are taking place. The quarterback that always like to throw him the ball, and he's had issues with injuries. So we need to keep that in mind. Hopefully he'll be able to perform like he did previously, 2 years ago, 2.5, 3 years ago, 2 years ago. But injuries have been plaguing him. And I know that they got the red rifle there now, and they're talking about that. He's had a potential shot to be the starting quarterback, but it's Kirk Cousins is, to me, he's a slinger, and he takes risk. Andy Dalton, I don't know how much risk he's going to want to take. So we will see when it comes to that. Let's talk about tight ends. So let me get over here to tight ends here. Tight ends, we got Sammy Laporta, Travis Kelce, Mark Andrews, Trey McBride, and Evan Ingram. All five of those players I can see being at the top. Um, all good players. Mark had the injury last year that really set him out very many games. So if he's at 100%, you have a battle between all three of these guys. Excuse me. Mouth gets a little dry whenever I'm talking so much. So excuse me. Anyways, let's go on to Trey McBride. This guy, he was like the Zach Ertz. I kid you not. Great player. He can get down the field. He can catch the ball. He can separate. So that is a person that Kyler Murray is happy to continue to have on the team. And as long as he stays healthy, he's good to go. Evan Ingram, since Calvin Ridley left, Evan Ingram might be the number 2 receiver. Great player, great hands, great awareness, can make plays. We will see what Trevor Lawrence can do with this revitalized team. Trevor Lawrence did struggle last year. He struggled. It always happens. Sometimes it happens with players, but I presume and I hope that he has a bounce back year because I'm in the state of Jacksonville. So hopefully he has a bounce back year. We will see. But yeah, those five, we can throw George Kittle in there, possibly. I think Kyle Pitts, he may step it up because he's got Kirk Cousins under the center. So that might be another person that we can keep in mind that may move up. Since Gabe Davis left, since Stephon Diggs, and Gabe Davis left the Buffalo Bills, it's going to be interesting to see how their offense plays. But I think Dalton Kincaid can, he can kind of tiptoe into the top 5. We will see. We shall see. Time is creeping. Time is definitely creeping. So, when it comes to it, defenses, it just all depends on how the defense looks in week 1, week 3, week 5, until their bye week. Because I promise you, I've gone through 3 or 4 different defenses until I was able to lock in that one that actually would give me some points. Sometimes those defenses don't get you any points, they get you in the negative. Even when you think they're supposed to be good. They're not good by name, they're good by what you see on the field. Fumbles, sacks, interceptions, any type of returning touchdowns, all that good stuff. So we're not even going to talk about defenses. But kickers, we'll skip past the kickers too. Anyways, I would like for you to subscribe to the channel. I'll be posting videos on a weekly basis if the Lord allows, because this is fantasy football time, and this will be the channel for you. So do me a favor, give me a like, post in the comments what you think. Post in the comments who you think your top 5 in each position on offense will be. And also subscribe to the channel. Listen, I am just a regular guy. I know you probably hear that from other YouTube channels, but I'm really telling you the truth. I'm a down-to-earth guy. I like to communicate. I love fantasy football, and I love to have fun on Sundays, Mondays, and Thursdays when it comes to the game. So if you know fantasy football like I do, this will be the channel for you. So go ahead and click like, subscribe, comment, and we'll get at you next time. Peace.